Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video we're going to be installing Windows Millennium Edition, or as commonly known as Windows ME. It was the predecessor to Windows 2000. It was technically a special edition, as I want to call it, operating system. When this came out during the Y2K phase. So a lot of computers actually during pretty much the year 2000 and 2001, right before Windows XP hit, all received this. This is an update technically to Windows 2000. Some people actually consider this Windows Whistlers built from it. And technically it's the last of the 9X series before Windows started using their NT kernels. As you can see now, when we install this, we have to still use MS-DOS like the rest of them because it's still based off of DOS. So to go ahead and do this, you're going to have to install MS-DOS 622 with CD-ROM. And then if you're looking for anything that we do in the video, like always, it's down in the description below. I'll have links to everything we do. So all you have to do is just pretty much create yourself a very basic Windows ME. Okay, you can use the CD I have down below as the base point, but you still have to make sure you install DOS. So what I went ahead and did was I left everything as default, but we're going to go in here and we're going to change a few things around real quickly. So first things first, we're going to go to virtual machine, and we're going to give it 512 of RAM. I did it with Windows 95 and 98, so I can give it a little bit more. Hard drive, we're leaving at 8 gigs. You can expand it, you can make it bigger later. But there's really not much you can do with this operating system. Again, people compare this to like the Windows Vista too as well, like that kind of scenario where it was just a filler between everything. So again, I like to use my network adapter as bridged. I will go ahead and mount my Windows Millennium Edition ISO. So that's where we have it here. Windows ME. Okay, and then everything else we can leave as default. Oh, one more thing to show everybody once it saves. Back in the virtual machine, and under options, make sure general, the virtual machine build is Windows ME under Microsoft's operating system ME. Right? And the hard drives have to be IDE. They should automatically be, but I actually was doing a video last night and found out that they actually built SATA. I have a video coming out for how to install the original Ubuntu when it first came out in 2004. Ran into a lot of hiccups with it, not realizing that it built everything on SATA. So let's go ahead and power the virtual machine on. All right. And that error message always comes because I have floppy and I just never disconnected on boot, which I probably should, but I'm just kind of not really into it. So it should be a very simple and quick install, just like Windows 95, just like 98. It has a GUI. It's pretty much straightforward, and it's just like everything else. We just got to boot right into the CD, and then we go from there. So first things first, we're going to type in D:, and then type in the word setup. And there we go. And like I said, this is the last of the MS-DOS series, or 9X series as they call them. The next series after this, 2000 and above, actually are part of the NT kernel, and they still work if you're using with DOS and everything. It's just the installers are a little bit different. These we have to install DOS or some form of operating system previously, as opposed to the Windows 2000, XP, and so on, where you just have to go ahead and just straight up install it. So first thing is, leave it as the Windows directory. Now the other nice thing about this is I'm trying to make a video. Hopefully I'll have one posted later this week. I'm taking all the 9X DVDs, like 1, 2, 3, 95. I'm actually going to try to build them all under one DOS setup. I've never actually done it before. I don't even know if it's even possible. But hopefully, maybe it is. I mean, I know I've done 1, 2, 3, and 3.1 in there. But I actually have never tried Windows 95 yet, or Windows 98 on top of it. I'm pretty sure you probably could. It's just changing the Windows directory. Okay, so right here we'll go ahead and fill out the network information. I'm in the US on the East Coast. All right, now here's your startup disk. I've shown how to do startup disks in the past, but down below my link you already have the startup disk, so I usually just cancel out of this. And then we go ahead and start copying the files. The startup disk is nice, but you can pretty much buy them, not buy them, you can pretty much download them anywhere. I actually have all the startup disks for these errors, as well as the recovery disks for 7, 8, XP, 10. You can make them, you can get them from any website. Mainly what happens is if you can't boot into your virtual machine or your actual computer at the time, you want these startup disks, which had pretty much a bare bone DOS on them. So you're able to diagnose the problems and hopefully correct the issue. Or worst case scenario, able to get your data copied off or moved while you had to reinstall Windows. So back in the day, the process would take roughly around 30 minutes to an hour. As you can see here, it says 22 minutes. We're probably looking closer to 10 once everything's done. Now, I know in like my Windows 95 and 98 videos, I was able to install Plus and everything. Windows Millennium Edition, I'm just kind of, basically showing the install, and then we're going to, end the video at that point. There wasn't really too much more you can do with it. I mean, you can install Office 97. I believe you can install Office 2000 as well. And I might do that, in a little bit. I do have that somewhere in my collection of everything. But mainly, this is just going to show anybody who wants to install Windows Millennium Edition and see kind of what it was like back then. Because I don't think a lot of people had this. I know when in my house, I think my uncle actually had this when he bought his computer in like 2000. But other than that, I don't remember anything else. Me, I went from 98 straight up to actually XP. I don't think I didn't have Windows 2000. I didn't have, actually, no, I did. I did have Windows 2000. I didn't have Windows Millennium Edition. But this is like pretty much like I said, the bare bones build for what XP was going to be. And then after Windows Millennium, you had Whistler, which ended up becoming like the pre-beta testing for 2000 to XP. I will be doing a video on that too. Not really much you can do with it because it is a beta and it really didn't have much going for it. A lot of errors, a lot of bugginess with it, but it was pretty cool to see how they transformed Windows 2000 straight up. So that's another reason why a lot of people consider this just kind of like a budget OS. They were just kind of made this as I feel as a joke for when Y2K hit. Everybody's freaking out that the computers weren't going to work. So, buy Windows Millennium Edition because it will actually be able to read the year 2000. Kind of a joke on everything. All right, now we're doing the hardware setup and the final installation. And I will also be installing VMware tools, obviously, as well. And again, once this VM is done, you'll be able to actually download this VM yourself and use it in your home environment if you would like. Or, again, you can just follow along. The serial number that I will provide for this is the same serial number I'll provide, with anything. They are easy to get and free to get on the internet, so there's no reason to worry about hiding a serial number. Also, there's no activation involved with this, so shareware, I guess. Microsoft learned in XP, and that's kind of the irony is because when you install Windows Whistler in the betas, you actually can see that they tried implementing that. I think they actually did do it for one of them. I would think I was reading somewhere how to activate it, which actually ironically still activates today. Same thing with Windows XP. If you actually have an XP machine and you want to activate it, you can actually activate it by phone. It's pretty crazy how they still do that today. Okay, so the first thing we're going to be doing here is just typing in your name. You can leave company blank, that's perfectly fine, but you do have to put a username in. It could be anything, it could be your first name, last name. It could be, just user, if actually that's what you want to type in. I don't recommend it, but you can. Like I said, I'm not going to block out the actual serial code that I'm typing in, because like I said, for the most part, there's no activation, so it's not going to hurt anybody. And second, honestly, you can go ahead and steal this from me, because it's not really something I plan on using anytime. It's more, again, just to kind of see how the nostalgic purposes are. So let's hopefully I typed this in correctly. And it did. And now it's going to go through the final install. Like I said, with the Windows ME and the 95 and 98 in that era, technically 2000 and NT, all the same stuff. The installers have all been the same. There hasn't been anything spectacular between them. Especially with this, Windows 95 was pretty much the same set with a blue background. Windows 98, I believe, was the same thing with a blue background. So with Windows Millennium Edition, they added a little extra color in the back here, as you can see. But the actual install, the taskbar on the left side, the pretty much everything else is all the same. They just added a little, nice color to it, or pretty much more color, because blue is technically a color. So. It still does feel like it takes eternity, though, to install. For such a small file, I think it's, what, 500 megabytes for all this? So with such a small file, it still feels like it takes forever. And it does suck, because you can't put, like, say, 8 gigs of RAM on here and just let it just waffle through. You still got to meet something of the requirements. Um, yeah, I usually probably do double of what it actually asks for. So if it asks for 128, I'll do 256, or 256 to 512. Sometimes I'll actually just go ahead and test the limits. I do believe Millennium Edition can do up to 2 gigs on here, but I didn't want to end up trying to make the video, then get about halfway through and then start getting RAM errors because it doesn't know what it's doing. Just kind of make it simple, and it's fast enough. All right, we'll go ahead and restart now, and now it should get us ready to boot right into Windows ME. All right, so like always, I'm just going to hit cancel. There you go. And this was Windows Millennium Edition. So now we'll go ahead and get VMware tools installed by going to VM and install VMware tools. You will be presented with that lock only because it still is actually probably reading the CD. And we'll do the complete installation. And the complete installation is mainly just giving it mouse drivers and video drivers so they work properly, as you can see here. All right, everything's installed, so we'll go ahead and reboot. And then hopefully the drivers are working. Okay, we can faintly hear. Okay, so we have the video driver here. And then go ahead and resize it just a little bit bigger. It all depends. I believe the new version of VMware Tools that came out is actually a little buggy. So it doesn't actually go full screen like it should be. So that's why you're seeing the sidebars here the way they are. Which is kind of a shame. Because it worked fine in my other videos. And then all of a sudden it just was like, nah, we're good. We don't want to work anymore. Oh, here we go, finally. Alright, so it's kind of weird, but it is what it is. So as you can see here, we have Windows Millennium Edition installed. As you can see here, this is the latest. So when they actually ended up, discontinuing Millennium, this is everything is, patches and all. You don't have to worry about these. We can install these as well, serial buses and everything, but we don't actually use a serial bus. But yeah, so that's technically how you install Windows Millennium Edition. So hopefully this is a little bit of a fun nostalgic walkthrough in life. At this point here, I mean, like I said, I don't see too many people actually going to install this in anytime soon or go ahead and use it. Like here, we can go ahead and put the good old Millennium background on here. So hopefully this video helps somebody out. If it didn't, then let me know in the comments what could I've done to help out more. If you have any problems with installing Millennium Edition, you can go ahead and give me a comment. You can email me, send me any kind of information if you would like me to look at this. Also, we can, like I said, I could do another video about installing certain software on here. So this is technically capable of running Half-Life. Video games like Doom and stuff like that, as you see in my previous videos. So we could still keep going with that as much. So if you like the video, like it, subscribe. I'm having future videos up soon. I'm doing all the Windows up until 10 on installation as well as servers. As of right now, I have 1, 2, 3, 311, 95, 98, XP, 2000, NT. We got a bunch of them on there. I've also done a few obscurity ones where we're installing, like I said, the original Ubuntu 4.10, which is actually ironic that the first Ubuntu started off with version 4, as some people say, but I'll explain more about that in my video. I've also done Raspbian if you're looking to use a Raspberry Pi on how to do this. Steam OS is coming up soon. So a lot. I pretty much just go online, look for operating systems, and kind of throw them on there. So if you have an operating system you want to see installed on VMware, let me know in the comments below. But like always, I hope everybody has a great day, and I'll talk to you all later. See ya.